Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh and a very good morning everyone. Terima kasih kerana mengikuti program kami hari ini dalam sesi perbincangan kita menerusi Facebook Live MIASA, Understanding Mental Health Help, Chat with Us. I'm Puan Anita, the President of MIASA. I will be moderating today's session dan juga saya akan berkongsi pengalaman MIASA di community dan juga bantuan yang disediakan oleh MIASA dan juga buat individu-individu di luar sana yang ada penyakit mental dan juga penjaga-penjaga. Kerana sebenarnya persoalan ini sering menjadi FAQ sebenarnya di MIASA dan kami sangat berharap melalui perbincangan ini kita dapat sama-sama memahami dengan lebih baik tentang perkhidmatan yang disediakan di contohnya government hospitals, di klinik, di mentari, perkhidmatan yang disediakan oleh pakar-pakar, oleh perawat Islam contohnya dan juga perkhidmatan-perkhidmatan yang disediakan oleh MIASA insya-Allah. Jadi kepada anda yang masih tidak begitu faham ataupun tidak tahu, bolehlah berkongsi kepada rakan-rakan dan juga ahli keluarga sesi kita pada hari ini insya-Allah. Moga-moga mereka yang selama ni tidak tahu ke mana untuk mencari bantuan, tidak tahu bagaimana caranya, apa yang hendak ditanyakan kepada doktor dan sebagainya, boleh insya-Allah bertanyakan hari ini dan juga kita akan kongsikan insya-Allah. Jadi bersama-sama saya seperti biasa, saya tidak bersendirian. Saya ada hari ini Ustaz Muhammad Noor Deros iaitu VP kedua MIASA. Welcome Ustaz, apa khabar? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Baik, thank you so much for this invitation. Waalaikumsalam.
Okey, kemudian kita juga ada, sudah tentunya kalau ada Ustaz, kita kena ada Dr. Hazli Zakaria. Dr. Hazli, Assalamualaikum, how are you?
Waalaikumsalam. I'm good. How about you? How are you?
I'm good. Alhamdulillah. Better, managing better.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Dan kemudian kita ada Kaarina, which is one of our volunteers and also teacher at MIASA. She is an art psychotherapist. Welcome Dana. Assalamualaikum. How are you?
Waalaikumsalam, Puan Anita. I'm good, thank you. I'm happy to be here with everyone else.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for joining us today. And last but not least, we have Nasreen Hajibeigy. Nasreen, thank you so much for joining us. Assalamualaikum, how are you?
Waalaikumsalam, thank you again for having me. I'm doing fine.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. So I will not share on your role today. So it will be a surprise after this, inshallah. Okay, all right. Okay, so before we kick off this discussion, I would like to start it with the introductory round. Jadi biasanya saya memberi kenalan, tetapi harapan saya hari ini supaya perbincangan ini lebih casual, all of us to share a little bit on what our roles are in this mental health industry and also in MIASA if relevant. So kita mulakan dengan Ustaz. Ustaz, can you share a little bit with our audience today your role in MIASA? Some of your background lah Ustaz kalau boleh, sebab kita dah bersama-sama kan Ustaz. Saya mengenal Ustaz daripada tahun 2013 sebenarnya. Alhamdulillah 2014 Ustaz bersama-sama join us under Kuasa Darussalam dan kemudiannya bersama-sama dengan kami di dalam perjuangan dengan MIASA. Jadi kalau Ustaz boleh kongsikan sedikit Ustaz. Dah 8 tahun ni ya Ustaz. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Silakan.
Allah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
First and foremost, thank you for this invitation. I'm happy to be with all of you this morning and to share my thoughts and my experiences working together with MIASA for the past 8 years. 8 tahun ni samalah dengan umur perkahwinan saya lah.
Oh, Masya Allah. Betul.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
So senang nak ingat anniversary MIASA, anniversary perkahwinan sekali. So in MIASA I am the second vice president, so I provide spiritual therapy and religious counseling to our peers. You want me to explain what is spiritual therapy and religious counseling or later?
No, later.
Okay.
Tapi mungkin Ustaz boleh kongsikan kenapa Ustaz, what made you decide to come to this mental health space?
Okay, since I was teaching in Singapore, when we are teaching about Aqidah, when we're teaching about worldview, belief system, I realized that it is a pivotal aspect of our mental health. Ya. Ia adalah bahagian yang sangat penting pada kesihatan mental dan jiwa seseorang, kepercayaan kita, our belief system. Ya. And after knowing you, after knowing MIASA, I realized it more clearly. Right? Many of the patients, many of the peers who came to us confesses, secara jujur, berterus terang, mengatakan bahawa yes, they believe that their religiosity or their spirituality may have something to do, not everything to do, may have something to do with their current mental health state. Yeah, and after doing a couple of research on number of psychologists, for example, like Carl Jung, William James, 100 years ago, these are the fathers of modern psychology. They themselves acknowledged the importance of religiosity or religion, sorry, not religiosity, religion in maintaining one's mental health. So with the skill that I have, with the knowledge that I have about Islamic Aqidah in these Muslim majority countries, and I believe not only for Muslims, any human beings, belief system plays a part in their mental health. So I'm happy to contribute what I can in that field, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, Ustaz, thank you so much. And because of your contribution and your participation in this field, kan Ustaz, MIASA kita dapat menyediakan perkhidmatan spiritual therapy bersama-sama dengan mental health, which is so important for us to be able to provide that holistic approach. And kalau tidak, akak sendiri pun dulu Ustaz, even for me, when I was struggling, I didn't have a place where it had two different services at the same time. I had to go to Darus Shifa, I had to go to Darussalam to get the service, and then pergi, to my psychiatrist to get services. So Alhamdulillah, we can do it, at one place. Kita ada semuanya, Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, Ustaz. Okay, Dr. Hazli. Dr. Hazli, boleh dengar?
Boleh.
Boleh, Alhamdulillah. Okay, Dr. Hazli, Alhamdulillah, Dr. Hazli, I still remember the first time I met you as if it was yesterday. Sebenarnya, then I am so happy that we are in this together, Alhamdulillah, and you have been with us from day one. Mungkin Dr. Hazli boleh berkongsi sedikit, some of your background, backstory lah kita cakap kepada mereka yang mendengar, insyaAllah.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih pada MIASA, Anita, pada panel, pada Ustaz Muhammad Noor, Dana, Nasreen for being here today, and then of course people outside sana kan yang sama-sama dengan kita. Dan bila Anita beritahu, walaupun last minute, saya kata saya kena datang juga sebab ini tentang perjalanan untuk bagaimana kita untuk mendapatkan pertolongan. Kita ingatkan senang, tapi sebenarnya susah. Okay, saya pada hari ini bukan sekadar sebagai seorang psychiatrist tapi perjalanan saya pun panjang. Saya pernah bekerja, I work in Ministry of Health, I work in Ministry of Education, I study in Australia, I know the system. I went to follow my wife who did the fellowship. I know the system in UK. Even my first son was born in UK. So know the system a little bit. And then also the member of the Society of MPA for I think about 12 years until I got the post of president since 2018. Yep. So and then now I came out and then to be in the other side of the system into the private. So the only thing that I haven't not experienced is the being a client, being a patient. But do we need to be a patient for us to understand how to be a patient? In if that is that's the issue, means that we don't have the important component of empathy. Do we need to giving birth to know the pain of giving birth? So the idea is if we put ourselves in the shoes of others, we probably it's going to be even more understanding. So today I thought, from the service providers, the service has been provided and then everyone got, but if we put ourselves from the person who looking for assistance and the journey the journey is kind of like, you know, the journey itself is kind of like a challenge. Not having the symptoms of any mental illness are challenge, but the journey to get assistance is a challenge. And then when I was interviewed to go into the masters in psychiatry, and at that time I was not qualified yet, but somehow my name was there. Then I said that I want to change the way people see psychiatrists, because I think the community not able to appreciate which one is a psychiatrist if they look at the two person, because the psychiatrists themselves look like a patient. In a way, it's a kind of good thing, but no, it seems like for those who be in the psychiatric fraternity last time because they have no choice. But I choose to be because I want to make a change. And then with that still in my head until now, and I hope I'm in a better position to really walk my talk, and then we need to do this together. So I'm here today so that we probably can have that journey.
So thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. You know, Dr. Hazli, to be honest, you paved way for, you know, for MIASA. You were, you know, the first psychiatrist that, you know, believed in me, believed in what MIASA stood for. So, you know, we're very, very thankful, very, very grateful for this, Dr. Hazli. Dr. Hazli, kalau saya boleh tanya lah, Dr. Hazli, kan, memandangkan hari ini kita nak buat chat with us ni, what were you, you know, thinking on the day that I met you? What was your thought process masa tu, Dr. Hazli? Apa sebenarnya Dr. Hazli fikir? Sebab Dr. Hazli macam, you know, when I proposed to you, you were like, okay, I will do it. Apa yang membuatkan Dr. Hazli tergerak untuk nak bersama-sama dengan, you know, a peer group to champion this cause?
Because the first thing that came into my mind, Anita, to be honest, how can I help this person?
I see, okay.
Because I know for someone who want to do for mental health, not many. And then most of the time that before, I know that some people approach because they want something this, something that is, but I want to, if even that I will help. Even someone want to come in to seek advice and for their own benefit or whatever it is, I think if it's a win-win, they got what they want, and then I managed to help, and then the patients and then the clients, the family members managed to get something, I'm okay with that. Yeah, but if the person come with a genuine intention is want to do that, I think if I can help, I'm more than happy to do. So that is the intention. For me, what I can do, whether I can do, I have time, I have the knowledge to do that or not. So that's the only thing that comes in my head.
Okay, all right, thank
until
you.
Today though, until today, that sometimes I have difficulties to say no. I told you, right, Anita, and very difficult to say no to you.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. I hope that's a good thing, insyaAllah. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. Tapi betul apa yang Dr. Hazli kata, benda ni adalah, ialah perjalanan dan pengalaman yang kita lalui sebenarnya membantu perjuangan kita, apa yang kita lakukan sekarang ni kan, Dr. Hazli. So I think that's really powerful when you say that, because kan Ustaz, bila you know, akak fikir balik, you know, my whole entire journey, I think about when I was in primary school, I had friends in primary school who self-harmed. And benda-benda ni semua kita ingat balik, kita imbas kembali apabila kita sendiri ada penyakit mental. And when I was studying and when I was working in the US, I actually lost a friend to suicide. And it was really different when it happened during the time, sebabnya I didn't have the knowledge of mental health. So although it was shocking, it wasn't something that I understood until, you know, I myself experienced it. So all these experiences yang Allah berikan, semuanya ada sebabnya kan Ustaz. Jadi Alhamdulillah, semua pengalaman yang saya lalui, semua pengalaman yang saya dengar daripada rakan-rakan seperjuangan, semuanya sebenarnya Alhamdulillah membantu MIASA untuk memperbaiki segala usaha yang kita lakukan, membantu kerja-kerja advokasi yang kami lakukan. Jadi thank you so much everyone for sharing your story. Okay, Dana, same question. Can you share with the audience on your role in MIASA and maybe some background of yourself? Because I remember that, you know, when we first met, you just came back from the UK and you were telling me about your story. Maybe you can also share on what made you pursue the mental health space and how did you actually find MIASA? Silakan, Dana.
Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Happy to be here with all of you. Yeah, so I am a registered art psychotherapist. Got my master's in art psychotherapy in London, and I got my bachelor's degree in psychology in the United States. And you know, Puan Anita, when you mentioned like me moving back here, I had all these flashbacks running through my mind about that moment. And I remember Nasreen was there actually.
Yes, yes. We all met at the same time.
We were at the
We
same
were all kind of pitching our, you know, our ideas and our proposals.
Right.
So lots of flashbacks coming back to my mind. But the reason I, you know, reached out to MIASA is because when I moved back, I was kind of still a little bit lost in the kind of, you know, mental health industry or space because I've been away for so long. And I was living in the UK for 5 years. And then before that, I was living in the States for another 5 years.
Right.
When I moved back, I was kind of like, okay, I need to, you know, if no jobs are going to come towards me, I'm going to have to kind of reach out and create these opportunities for myself, especially as an art therapist, something that's really niche, really new, almost kind of unheard of, I think, here in Malaysia. I think it's safe to say almost unheard of, based on my personal experience from moving back. So I heard about one of the mental health conferences that you had.
Okay.
That was somewhere in KL. I forgot which hotel it was, but
Primera Hotel.
Yeah, so I remember seeing that online and I was like, okay, I've never heard of MIASA. I'm gonna go to this conference, see what it's all about. And when I went there, I was like, wow, I'm amazed with, you know, all the topics that they're covering, all the speakers that you had. And then I kind of just reached out and emailed, I think it was you or the organization, just saying, you know, hi, I'm a newly registered, a fresh graduate art psychotherapist. And, you know, I just moved back to Malaysia where I'm from. And I really want to kind of start something here and put my skills to use. So I'm really glad and grateful that, you know, you were super supportive from the beginning, and you were, you know, as curious and as excited about bringing arts into MIASA and kind of doing something with that. And now it's been about what, maybe a year and a half or
a year plus.
A year plus. Yeah, and I feel like it's grown a lot since.
Yes, it has.
Since the beginning. And yeah, so right now I'm offering, it started off as just me offering Friday classes, Friday art therapy sessions for the B40 community. Right. But now we've kind of expanded because of, I think more and more people were kind of interested and curious. So I've got individual sessions every Tuesday, and I'm offering more group sessions every Thursday. But, you know, in terms of your question relating to why or how I got into the mental health space, I think from, you know, 18 years old, me going into psychology and doing a degree in that, clearly there was already some sort of interest,
yes,
you know, in working with people, and there was curiosity around that. But to be honest, after I graduated, I still wasn't really sure where exactly I fit.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, I've got this degree, but where, I'm not sure where I wanted to take it from there because it felt very general. And then, you know, in hindsight, I was like, I was doing a lot of art. I'm an artist myself. And then I found, you know, that there were actually master's courses in art psychotherapy. It's not something that was even introduced to me when I was doing my degree.
Right.
So when I read about that, it was just kind of like an aha moment. I was like, oh my goodness, this exists. Right. This is literally my calling, two of my passions together, mental health and arts. And then I applied to it. You know, I did fail the first time getting into the master's because I didn't have enough experience.
Right, I remember you telling me.
I think I was just very new and naive and just very excited, like, oh my gosh, this is my calling, let's apply. But you know, everything happens for a reason.
Exactly.
And, I didn't get in because I needed more experience. So that's when I got to volunteer more in the UK, and I got to learn so much from that. And I think I'm using all those skills pre-masters and also during, and kind of applying that here.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, here in Malaysia and with MIASA as well.
Very, very happy to have you, Dana. I mean, I think I was more open about it when you came because of Dan. You know, Dan proposed art classes to me the year before, so he was already doing that so much at MIASA. So I think I was more open about it, and I now, you know, when you came to me, I knew more about it, and I saw how it was really helping the peers, because art isn't my thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean if it's not my thing, it can't be a thing for another person, because I've got artists in my family, so it's a big thing in my family as well. So I'm was very happy when you came in, and you know, all the peers that come for your classes, come for Dan classes, they really enjoy it and they find it really helpful. And it is so interesting, you know, everyone, that during the recent press conference that happened a couple of days ago with our health minister, YB Arham, and also the Ministry of Health, talking about how they have used the art therapy for their health workers and frontliners. Alhamdulillah.
That's why, okay, two things about that. Yeah, one is interesting that they talk about the art therapy, but it's sadly, but they don't even measure even the dust before and after. so sad to hear.
Dengan post tak ada kan.
But in fact, I would like that clinic, and then want to invite Dana to and then because we're going to have more, so because you can have a session in Alaminda as well.
Boleh.
Yeah,
yes, that would be great. Yep.
I think it can be done. When are you going to start?
All right. Thank you very much, Dana, for your sharing. Okay, Nasreen, same question for you. If you can share a little bit with the audience on your role in MIASA, and maybe some background of yourself and what made you decide to pursue the field of mental health.
Assalamualaikum, everyone. Everyone at home, everyone watching the panels. I'm Nasreen. I'm 27 this year. So I'm not a psychotherapist. I've never really been involved with psychology until I experienced it myself. I suffer from bipolar disorder 7 years ago, and I have a background in architecture and design. However, I also had a passion of dance since I was 13. I was initially self-taught, and I remember I really couldn't dance. I really couldn't dance, and like even my best friend said I dance like a soto. So that really like kind of pushed me to like prove to myself that I can. And then I ended up being able to dance, and I even like led that team. So that was something that really empowered me and allowed me to express myself when I find it difficult for me to do so with my voice, because I never really knew how to let my emotions out from my voice. So sometimes, you know, you can let it out from other ways. So with MIASA, okay, how I met and how I came to MIASA was I was actually admitted in the hospital in Australia, actually, and it was actually really interesting, and I was inspired a lot by them. That when I came back, I mean, in Australia, they had this thing where they had like a lot of art therapy for the peers, and it was very helpful. And every morning there was this fitness that would help us, that would gather us in a circle. We'll actually like have a little bit of fun, and it was really helpful for the peers. And I felt like we should really have that in Malaysia. And I saw that before I left. I actually still have the pamphlet. They have this mental health kind of like performing arts day, and I was like, you know what, one day we should have that, something like that. And then when I came back to Malaysia, I've always been kind of like very silent about my mental health, but I kind of needed help. I still needed help. So actually my mom told me about MIASA, and I went for the conference, and I saw it, and I think I stopped at Ustaz's talk. It was very interesting about spiritual talk, but I couldn't take it because it was really heavy for me, because I realized that I was a lot in denial with my own illness. So it took me a couple of months to be able to approach MIASA and feel like maybe there's something I can do to actually get involved with this community without really like telling them first that I have, because I didn't really mention I had bipolar, and actually Anita just knew end of last year, but I wasn't ready to tell. So I wanted to offer what I could, and I was a dance teacher for the past 4 years. After graduating from architecture, I was doing architecture, but at the same time also teaching some kids, NGOs and stuff, dancing. And then I ended up doing full-time. Then I wanted to bring to MIASA, and then slowly we're having a dance therapy also this Saturday. We're going to start it. So that is how I'm here now.
Right. Thank you so much, Nasreen. You know, this whole hijrah with you, it's so inspiring, to be honest. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and I know it takes a lot of courage to come out, but I really hope that, you know, other individuals that are struggling know that, you know, there's a platform like MIASA where you can feel safe, you know, that you know, we don't judge, we come from a place of empathy, and we all want to help. So we are really in this together, and you're not alone. So thank you so much, Nasreen, for sharing that. Okay, I think we lost Dr. Hazli again. So while waiting for him, I would like to share a couple of things first. Okay, actually one of the reasons why we really wanted to have this session as well is to give us an opportunity to really highlight a couple of things, because we, you know, doing this work, although it has been about 5 years now, we have come to realize that a lot of people are still unclear about on how, you know, the modus operandi of NGOs, you know, the processes, you know, how we work, how things are done, etc. So I would like to take this opportunity on to actually highlight a few things. So first and foremost, because of the many, you know, feedbacks and discussions that we've had, is as an NGO, MIASA, we are not financially independent, right? So what does this mean? This means that we do not have a regular stream of income. So contohnya, katalah bulan ni kita tak ada, you know, company A who gives us 5,000 or a yayasan that gives us 3,000, for example. So we do not have this regular stream of income. And so because of that, we work really hard in you know, getting projects, whatever that is being proposed to us, you know, any collaboration works, talks, workshops, whatever it might be that can generate or give us some income. And if we're able to do it, we will. And obviously because of this, sometimes we are stretched very thin, very thin. But of course, you know, every cent really matters to us because it really helps us to sustain the work that we're doing, and helps us, you know, sustaining in the sense of paying rental, you know, utilities, you know, providing free services for the B40s, for example, etc., etc. So that's the first point. So we're not financially independent because, you know, a lot of times, you know, I had this discussion with Dr. Hazli before, and Dr. Hazli, when people approach us, you know, they would assume that, many do assume that because we're an NGO, our services when we do workshops and programs should be free at no cost. But how do we sustain? And, you know, what about our time that is used, you know, the knowledge that we have, the skills that we have in transferring that to you? So these are, you know, some of the misconceptions. Secondly, for your information, all our services are free for the B40 group, okay? And for some of the programs or workshops that we do, even if it's not entirely free, it is subsidized up to 90%. So usually it's about 10 ringgit, and the 10 ringgit is actually used as a commitment fee. because we would like as much as possible, if we do programs and workshops, we have provided you the seat. We would like for you to show up, because if you don't show up, then we lose a seat that could be used for another person. So that RM 10 ringgit is a commitment fee. So if you look, at our workshops or our programs like Mental Health 101, which is coming up, we're charging a commitment fee of RM 10 ringgit. Our circle time sessions or our art therapy for B40, it could range, 5 to 10 ringgit, but 10 ringgit is the most that we charge for the B40s. But the other services that is much needed or essential is free of charge. Okay. Thirdly, Alhamdulillah, for those of you that belong to the M40 and T20 group, thank you so much for paying for the services, because via this is how we are able to provide this services for free or at no cost for the B40 group, or subsidize it for them, right? So whether you know it or not, or whether you realize it or not, you are indirectly helping us to sustain this model that we're currently having. So a lot of people ask us, how are you able to provide the services, at no cost? And this is why people have this assumption that MIASA is rich. Come for our AGM. So our annual general meeting is, I think, June 23rd or 24th, and we will be revealing our financial, our numbers, our financial reports, so you can actually see how much money we actually have. So that's third. Okay, and then fourthly, I would like to also inform everyone that the majority of us at MIASA, although we have 900 plus volunteers, I think the word volunteer ataupun sukarelawan is actually self-explanatory, right? So volunteers work voluntarily, maknanya tidak ada bayaran, there's no pay, tak ada gaji. And because of this, we are not able to provide services as intact like a pizza, number ataupun like a banking, hotline number, for example. It doesn't mean that if we are working voluntarily, we're not giving our best, but it means that there are going to be limitations because we have to follow the schedules of our volunteers. For example, there are going to be hours that are limited. We're not available 24/7, because I know that sometimes when, people contact us or, via social media, for example, and, we don't reply immediately and people get frustrated, for example, or when they call up our helplines or the crisis team, and if nobody picks up, instantly, and then, there's a lot of frustration and complaints. So I would really like to urge everyone and encourage everyone, if you do not get a hold of someone, please call again. Please continue to WhatsApp us, because I promise you, someone will eventually come, someone will eventually tend to your call. It's just that we're, stretched quite thin, and because of the whole pandemic of COVID-19, there has been an influx of calls, influx of WhatsApp messages. People have been emailing us, calling us, so it's been a lot, really, and we are very happy to help. I just hope that, we're a little patient. The help will eventually come, inshallah. So just to give you a little bit of insights, the number of calls, WhatsApp messages, people contacting us on social media, and then, people coming for the services, be it counseling, spiritual therapy, peer support, circle time, art therapy, all in all on a daily basis, it can range up to hundreds, right? So it's not a small number, it's a big number, guys. So it's so important that today, the other thing that I will be sharing is the other help that is available in the community. So that we can all, help one another, so that everyone can get the help that they need, and we can all help in easing, the burden of the health system. So this is really the role of the NGOs in the community. Okay, so if you have any questions on that aspect, please feel free to put it in the comment section, and I will, ask the question after this, inshallah. Okay. Second round, Ustaz. Okay, soalan kepada Ustaz, ya Ustaz. Seperti yang kita semua maklum, kita semua sering, kan Ustaz, sering kita bincangkan, orang perkaitannya, orang yang ada penyakit mental, biasanya kita we equated with lemah iman, tidak kira agama apa pun, Ustaz, agama Islam, Kristian dan sebagainya. Jadi apa sebenarnya kalau Ustaz boleh terangkan apa yang menyebabkan masyarakat mempunyai stigma sebegini, dan kesannya tu Ustaz, kesannya, the harm of apabila kita pukul rata sebegini. Sebab biasanya kalau seseorang contohnya ada penyakit fizikal, contohnya kanser, kita tidak menghukum lemah iman, kita tidak menghukum awak ada banyak dosa contohnya. Why do we do this, and why does this stigma, where does it stem from, Ustaz? Kalau Ustaz boleh kongsikan sedikit, insyaAllah.
Okay, it is only fair that I speak from the Muslim perspective there.
Betul.
I do not claim to be an expert representing the Christian community or Christianity or other religions. So I speak solely from a Muslim's perspective. I believe that all Muslims, regardless of where you live, acknowledge the fact that we are not at the best point of our civilization. This is a period of decline, actually, right? This is a period of decline. 1,000 years ago, we have a scholar by the name of Abu Zaid al-Balkhi, who acknowledged the role played by bodily imbalances and the role of the brain in causing some OCD cases. Even he spoke about endogenous and reactive depression. See, this is like what, 1,000 years ago, but it is almost unheard of. Okay, we don't hear this being shared in the mosques, in the surau. Ustaz pun jarang cakap pasal perkara ini. He is a Muslim scholar who wrote about psychology. Why are we not referring to him? Why? Because most people do not know about this man. Not only him, many other scholars, Al-Ghazali, Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah. But even when people refer to Al-Ghazali, Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, they refer to their books on spirituality only. Whereas they've written books also on physiology, okay, human physiology.
Yep.
So it is a big puzzle. Why? Why do we put aside these aspects? Whereas it is in our tradition, it is in our intellectual legacy. You see, partly maybe because of our misplaced enmity towards what we term as everything Western. You see, this comes from the Western civilization, and the Western civilization speaks much about the brain and the physiology and ignoring spirituality. Therefore, to counter them, let's speak about spirituality only. Let's speak about religion only. Let's see everything from the lens of religion only. You see, so of course this is a period of ignorance, and ignorance equals narrowness, right? When we are ignorant of things, our view of things becomes narrow, and our view of religion itself becomes very, 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 very narrow. We acknowledge the fact that in the Quran, Allah spoke about the physical aspect of man too, not only the spiritual aspect, right? So we are doing injustice not to only psychology, not to only mental health, but to our own religion sebenarnya, to our own religion, and this leads us to neglect the role of the brain. We have been neglecting. We do not understand the brain much today. You see, when we ask religious people, orang yang sentiasa selalu datang surau belajar agama, let's ask them, when was the last time the Ustaz or the Ustazah speaks about the role of the brain in your mood, okay? Or even your mood to pray, yeah, semangat nak solat, semangat nak sedekah. The brain ada role tak? Nearly kosong, tak ada. I sendiri tak pernah dengar in my nearly 20 plus experience in studying Islam, learning Islam. I can safely say 100% tak ada. You see, so it is I can't say anything else. It is ignorance and misplaced enmity towards whatever that comes from the West. Sehingga semua kita narrow down to spirituality and religiosity only, and ignoring the physical and the material aspect. Allah.
So maknanya kan Ustaz, kita kena teruskan perbincangan ni, sebab memang sampai hari ni pun baru-baru ni Dr. Hazli pun ada kan, Dr. Hazli involved in a topic macam ni juga. So minggu lepas pun akak ada tengok juga orang bercakap tentang kaitan orang yang kesihatan mental dengan lemah iman. Jadi
Maybe sis, sorry, maybe it's easier kot to just look at one aspect. People don't like complexity generally. Like, want to look at the physical aspect, which is intertwined with the spiritual aspect, with the social aspect, economic aspect. Tak ramai orang yang suka this complexity. But the religion teaches you about complexity actually, and to accept the fact that reality is complex, that the phenomenon is complex. So it is up to us lah, religious people, to when we claim to be religious, are we really sincere, or is just a badge of honor, or is just something that we flaunt around that I'm a religious person, I'm a Muslim, or we are true to it. Okay, itu yang kita kena question ourselves.
And I also find it helpful, contohnya Ustaz kan, kalau para ustazah juga belajar tentang kesihatan mental dan penyakit mental. So we need to encourage more of this group of people to learn about this kan Ustaz, sebenarnya penting. Boleh. Okay, terima kasih Ustaz, insyaAllah. Dr. Hazli, is Dr. Hazli here or is he frozen? Can you guys see him? Dr. Hazli? Rasa Dr. Hazli tak ada. Okay, it's okay. I will skip Dr. Hazli. Dana, I'm going to go straight to you. Putus-putus lah Dr. Hazli. Your network bandwidth is low. Okay. All right, Dana, I will skip Dr. Hazli and go right to you. Okay, so Dana, you know, a lot of people are still not very familiar.
Can you hear me?
Putus-putus, Dr. Hazli. Your
Can you hear
bandwidth.
me?
I can hear you, but your network bandwidth is low.
Anita, can you hear me? Anita?
Putus-putus, Dr. Hazli. Putus-putus.
Okay.
Okay.
Anita,
Maybe
can you
Dr.
hear
Hazli.
me?
Putus-putus.
No. Okay, tak apa. I met because. Okay.
Okay, Dr. Hazli keluar dulu ya. Masuk balik, insyaAllah. Okay. All right, Dana, can you share with our audience a little bit on, you know, art therapy? What can one expect? So if someone registers with us for art therapy, what can one expect to get out from this art therapy session with you?
All right, so art therapy, that is a really popular question until now that I still get based on experience. What is it? Simply the two words together, art and therapy. That's basically, whatever comes to your mind, that's kind of what it is. I'm curious about what comes to people's minds as well. But it's definitely using art as a primary mode of communication in the therapeutic aspect. So in art therapy, there's a triangular relationship between the artwork, the therapist, and the peer or patient. So everyone plays a really important role, and the creative process and the artwork and the images that are made during the sessions provide us like a medium of exploring emotions and feelings and underlying issues that aren't maybe necessarily brought up verbally. So there are a lot of things that we can explore through the artwork and the creative process itself. So, in terms of your question, what can people expect when they come to an art therapy session? So like I did say, I have group sessions and I have individual sessions at MIASA. So the kind of system that I've been using for our group sessions at MIASA, the ones that I've been doing every Friday since we first started, because it's a kind of an open-ended group. So it means that new people come in every week and there's not really a set amount of people. So some weeks it's, it could be maybe 5 and other weeks it could be 15 people.
Right.
And it's, people from all sorts of backgrounds, all unique individuals that come to these group sessions. So when I run the group sessions, usually I have a set activity that's already planned out. in relation to art. So it'll be an art activity. So it's very casual, our group art therapy sessions. My main goal of it is to provide a safe, non-judgmental space for people to come in and make art and, you know, get to know each other, learn from each other, and also to kind of explore emotions and feelings through art.
Right.
Which, you know, not a lot of us necessarily do on our own time at home unless we are artists. So what I realized from my experience is that people kind of come into the groups just having this very vague idea of what's gonna happen.
Right.
They're like, oh, okay, maybe there'll be a canvas and some paints and I'm gonna make an amazing painting.
Right.
But I think usually when they come to mind, they're like, oh, okay, this is not exactly what it is because it's not an art class. So that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to kind of make a painting and then have it judged and critiqued and wowed at the end. What I bring is that kind of like therapeutic, reflective kind of essence into the art making, which differs it from an art class. So how the group sessions would usually go is it's for 2 hours. So the first hour and a half, you know, I would explain, I would give a brief of the activity we're going to do. And then we kind of make art for an hour. Sometimes the sessions are very chatty, sometimes they're not.
Right.
It depends on the individuals that are there. Some people come in and they enjoy being quiet and just making art.
Right.
Some of them tell me this is the only time I get to kind of just be quiet and focus on something. And other people, maybe those who have a bit more severe anxiety, say that, oh, this is a bit too quiet for me. I like to do that. So I'm kind of ready for all sorts of individuals and all sorts of dynamics in the group. But the main thing that we're doing is art, and that's what's bringing us all together. And for the last half an hour, I think that is my favorite part of the group. And maybe unknowingly, a lot of the people that come in as well, that's not something they maybe expected, but I do like a reflective session the last half an hour. So we will all put our artwork in the middle, of course, if you're comfortable with it or not. And I would just kind of facilitate that reflective session. And I would, you know, talk about the artwork and get people to talk about their experiences today, what kind of feelings they get from other people's artworks. They talk about their own artworks, and a lot of times, you know, they're like, oh, wow, I did not expect myself to, you know, be so open about things that I'm going through. I wasn't expecting to be in this kind of situation, but having my artwork made it easier for me to talk about it. I think that's what I hear a lot from a lot of people that come in, and they're usually quite surprised as well by how they were able to talk about really difficult things, or you know, and then they also leave with learning from others, learning more deeply about others through someone's image and through someone's artwork. So I think, yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of the group. And then an individual session differs slightly, of course, because we're not working with the dynamics of, you know, a variety of individuals. So in an individual session, you know, usually they will come in with a goal that they have, that they want from art therapy, and all of them will come in with different needs. So what I would do is, it's all very client-led when it comes to my individual sessions. So I kind of work with whatever they bring into a session, whatever they want to bring in. Of course, you know, if they're feeling stuck and they're not really sure what they want to do that day in terms of art, I would suggest something based on their needs. But yeah, it really depends on what they're coming in for, what their goals are. But we're always making art. Sometimes they don't feel like making art and we would talk. Sometimes they feel like making art while talking. It really depends on the individual. But like I said, art is the main form of, you know, the medium of communication where we explore emotions and feelings.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Dana. So it's like a support group session, but we do art together at the same time, and that's really helpful. Thank you so much. Okay, Dr. Hazli, since you're in, I'll go to you first, and then Nasreen. Dr. Hazli, kalau Dr. Hazli boleh kongsi sikit, what kind of help is available in clinical settings, and especially during this lockdown, is it available? And also, are these help available for frontliners as well?
Okay. Thank you Anita for the question. Sebab Anita kata nak limit ni, I want to respond to Ustaz punya tadi pun, tapi tak apalah, saya jawab soalan
Tak apa,
dia juga.
Ustaz, Dr. Aziz, silakan.
Okay, because you know that this is important for us. We need to integrate the bio, psychosocial, and spiritual. For example, for the first time, I realized how important for next Ramadan, before next Ramadan, I have to warn all my patients, who are on medications or not medication or are having diagnosis, when the impact of Ramadan itself is not Ramadan. It's not. I mean, we are not blaming Ramadan. Oh, Ramadan is very good. They have all this, but we have to accept the fact that when there are changes in the physical and physiological of the individual, it's going to affect the psychological and mental state of the person. And for those who have a past episode or past history, even past history of having any psychological disorders, they are going to be affected. And then can you imagine for those who are already having the symptoms? For example, this person, he said that the dehydration make him having the headache, and then at the same time he need to focus for the lecture in the uni, and then usually it make him able to take Panadol, at least drink more water, but because of the puasa he cannot do that. And then the best part is some of them feels their fault, because feel that it's like they somehow responsible for having this kind of inability to cope with the changes. You know that some of them say, oh, bulan puasa kan hantu semua kena hantai kan, yang jadi ni iman I memang lemah lah ni, sebab itulah I dah tak tahan dan terfikir nak buka puasa. Padahal Islam is allowed for those who want to buka puasa. If they have to, they can. But you know that people who have this, dia rasa bersalah sangat bila dia nak buka puasa. Kurang-kurang sebab iman, betul lah selama ni orang kata your iman ni weak, sebab itulah you dapat all these symptoms. So but this is so not true, not true. So I think in fact I probably have to give them like a briefing and kind of reminder, this is what you're going to expect, the changes in the physiology are going to affect that, and then if you cannot tahan, it's okay. Jadi dalam arti kata lain, I have to I have to act like Ustaz lah. Nasib baiklah I belajar banyak daripada Ustaz Mohd Deros, I boleh jadi a pseudo Ustaz for a while. And then I also now can charge a little bit as additional fees, not as a psychiatrist, as a spiritual healer to be. So
Dr. Hazli, you know, it's so interesting bila Dr. Hazli share this point, sebab I am also proof that this is absolutely true. Sebab kan I can compare dulu when I first had it, when I started to fast the first 3 days, I got dizzy spells. Bila kita dehydrated, air tak cukup, makanan tak masuk, tak ada nutrition, then you get dizzy spells. Orang yang tak pernah dapat, dia tak tahu dizzy spells ni teruk rasa dia sebenarnya.
Betul. Itulah yang kata gangguan datang tu.
Betul Dr. Hazli. Betul. So, kenapa kita rasa macam tu juga, Dr. Hazli, kalau saya boleh tambah, it's because bila kita dalam keadaan teruk kan, Dr. Hazli, kita juga tak physically fit. Jadi bila kita tidak physically fit, kita tidur tak cukup, rehat tak cukup, makan tak betul dan sebagainya, kita memang tak boleh melalui berpuasa itu dengan baik. Tetapi apabila kita dah sembuh melalui proses penyembuhan dan kita dah physically back to mungkin insyaAllah kita punya optimum level, bila kita berpuasa kita akan rasa lebih sihat. Masya Allah, Alhamdulillah.
Betul. Another thing satu lagi yang kita bulan puasa alamat cabaran untuk kaum wanita. Kerana mereka terpaksa memastikan waktu buka puasa kehendak setiap orang itu dipenuhi. Suami, anak laki, anak perempuan semua masak kena ni. Lepas itu waktu sahur pula masakan kena sentiasa panas, tak boleh sejuk. They have to do all of that on top of they have to ensure that everybody ni. And then the interesting part, Anita, this is someone who has anxiety, has already recovered, I asked her, dalam banyak-banyak menu waktu berbuka puasa tu, siapa punya menu yang tidak ada dalam situ?
Saya punya lah.
The first tukang masak tu, dia tak apalah, I just finish whatever that food that they not able to finish. See how much the additional stress during it. But again, for those who have GERD, right, because of anxiety, somehow during puasa, they realize that they can eat, they can do, I mean, it's not so bad. I think the important for us to realize, one, the correlation or the close relationship between physical and psychological.
Yep.
Second, I think we have to accept, yes, we are having this all this kind of additional during Ramadan, but how are we, what are the strategies that we're able to do? So that's what we need to do.
Betul, Dr. Aziz, very good point. Okay, kalau Dr. Aziz boleh jawab soalan ni.
Okay,
soalan sebenar.
Soalan sebenar ialah, okay, how the treatment, okay, most of us, we thought that we, as a service providers, I think people kind of a common sense for people to know how to get assistance. If they're not well, they should know how to get the services. As a service providers, I thought this straightforward, but actually it's not. Even in developed countries like Australia, the service are available, but they need someone to navigate them, guide the person to get the services. But in Malaysia, most of them depend on the person themselves and their family members. You know that most of the focus of the intervention are on treatment the persons who already not well. We have a limited intervention in terms of preventions and very limited in terms of recovery and rehabilitation. So there are a lot of aspects of the services not being provided, and it's very fragmented and segmented. So the idea how to have A to Z kind of services, so that the person who need the service, they know how to go through the journey of getting the treatment and assistance. That is something that we don't have. Unfortunately, all the services are in the public facilities. They did a good job. However, the workload is too much until the services is kind of like, I would say, is not what we are expected. And then the pandemic, COVID-19, make their role is even more important, and then they need to serve even more people, but at the same time, the support is limited. So that's the idea, more people need to support them. Having said that, Malaysia has a mental health act, which provided the service provision that need to be given to the patients and the family. And then there needs a transition from the institution to the community. However, the policy or the act is not being practiced because the regulation is not strong enough for us to do. And then there is no transition from the budget from the institution to the community. So there are promises that if we follow what are the suggestion, recommendation in the act and regulation, we have should have a good mental health services. But unfortunately, they are not being given, emphasized by, of course, because they are not the priority. So this is important for us to have a good enough services in the private setting, not just to make profit, but at the same time to help to assist the public, so that the public system can give a good enough services as well. So we kind of balance up and do the partnership. So for example, Anita, the NGO like Anita provide the services. I hope that we're not going to continue give these services at the very low fees for the B40. Yes, for the people who need, yes, but people who can afford to pay, they should have to pay, and then they should appreciate the quality of the services that we give. That's why I'm so upset when they go to MIASA, especially the corporate GLC, they have the budget and they go to MIASA expecting the cheapest discounted fees for services that you guys provided. Is so unfair. And then these are the idea. If we are focused on the patients, family members, and the rakyat as our main focus, we know what we're supposed to do. We know what we have to do, rather than we are just like, oh, this person want to bring up or get because something that I also noticed among the NGOs also, even though have a good insight, but somehow everyone try to just to get the credit and portray the artist and that without really focus on the patients and the family as the reason we start the NGO in the first place. So that what I really think that the thing that we need to do is all of us, yes, have to reflect about our spiritual component, our physical, emotional, and also because that is what makes us kind of refocus when our just a little bit deviated from what our intention to do. Come back to the actual question. Yes, there is a services for the clinics. We have the hospital in most of the big government hospital in the public, and then the problem is, we somehow kind of the barriers to that is not as easy as we thought. For example, if Anita, you want to see a doctor's, tak stabil balik, you want to see the doctors, you think that you can just go to the clinic, any psychiatric clinic, even any private psychiatric clinic, you can get the appointment today? You think that you can have that?
No.
Most of the time depend whether someone cancel their appointment or not.
Yes, betul.
Right? If you are a very lousy psychiatrist, you still can have patient.
Okay.
Seriously, what is that? Because the
Point.
demand is still
The demand is so high.
The demand is
Betul.
high. So that's what we don't want. We have to ensure that the quality is good enough, but affordable according to whatever needs. But more important is we still have to continue how to increase the accessibility.
Betul.
Another thing that I noticed here, when the increase in the mental health promotions, all this awareness, the one who really need the services still not getting
Cannot
the
access.
services.
Betul.
The one who are considered belongs to the mild and maybe mild, they are the one who are like a panicky and then get to the treatment, but in fact they are not need the treatment in the by the specialist. For example, they are the one who may get benefit from by seeing Dana, by seeing Nasreen, by seeing a counselor. But the problem, the important thing that we do not realize is the assessment part. Assessment. The problem is we are delayed in getting the assessment.
Betul.
Once we get the assessment, the diagnosis, we have a proper plan. And then from that, go to si Dana, go to si Nasreen, go to si Ustaz Noor. Oh, Ustaz yang dah disertified oleh Ustaz Noor. Saya tak nak hantar sebarang Ustaz tau. Nanti tak apa-apa dia bagi ilmu entah ni. Tak pasal-pasal saya kena neutralize balik dia punya itu. Banyak kali dah berlaku, Anita. Saya tanya, kenal Ustaz Muhammad Noor tak? Tak kenal, saya tak mau hantar.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. Okay, maybe for those of you that are listening, for me to give you maybe a better flow kepada macam mana kita nak mendapatkan pertolongan. Okay, paling mudah, there is about, there are 1,000 health clinics in Malaysia. Ada 1,000 klinik kesihatan di Malaysia. If you feel that something is not quite right, kita ada rasa macam ada satu benda tak kena, please go to a health clinic. Pergi ke klinik kesihatan. Tetapi, okay, this is key. Please listen carefully. When you go and see a doctor at a health clinic, bila kita pergi berjumpa dengan doktor di klinik kesihatan, tolong bagi tahu doktor you want to do a mental health screening. Please share with the doctor what your struggles are. Sebab kebanyakan waktu apa yang kita dapati adalah a lot of our peers, when they go to the health clinics, they don't know what to tell their doctor, and they don't ask to do a screening. They just say, oh, saya rasa macam selalu sakit perut. Kadang-kadang tu saya rasa pening tak berhenti, lepas tu kerap demam. Apabila kita datang dengan physical manifestation sebegini, kadang-kadang doktor di klinik kesihatan tidak tahu dan dia tak check kita punya mental state ataupun tidak buat assessment seperti apa yang Dr. Hazli katakan, and then eventually what will happen is we will end up going home empty-handed. Kita tak buat juga health screening tu. Jadi pergi bagi tahu you want to do a mental health screening, and if when you do a mental health screening, kalau results ni keluar mild moderate, which is good, then you know. Tetapi kalau the results come and it is severe, then you know that you need help. They will give you a referral letter. So surat rujukan akan diberikan. With the referral letter is how you will be able to see a clinical psychiatrist at a government hospital. Jadi macam Dr. Hazli katakan tadi, yes, it is available, tetapi there is a barrier because of the long wait period time tau sebenarnya. So there is a wait time. Jadi kerana disebabkan oleh itu, NGOs in the community, contohnya seperti MIASA, kita sediakan mental health assessment as well. Okay, kita ada clinical psychologist contohnya that can do the assessment for you so that kita orang kata provide easier access. Jadi tak perlu tunggu lama-lama contohnya. So you can already get the help that you need. And macam Dr. Hazli katakan tadi, if your result came out and it's mild, it's moderate, you don't have to see a doctor. You don't even have to enter the medical system in the first place. You can just come for peer support, boleh datang, circle time, boleh buat counselling, boleh buat art therapy, you can do spiritual therapy, you can just do talk therapy, you can just come to MIASA, lepak bersama dengan orang-orang lain, find your support system sebagai contoh. So this is the process. Okay, another FAQ would be, mahal ke Puan Anita? Is it expensive for me to go to a health clinic to do this? No, it's very cheap. RM1, RM5, that is the only cost for you. Okay, if you go to a government hospital, you see a clinical psychiatrist, is it going to be expensive for me? No, it isn't. You will get to see a psychiatrist. If you need medication, the medication will be given to you, RM20-30. Kalau dia brand name, of course it's going to be a little bit more expensive, tapi the generic ones, under 50, you can get everything. Ample supply for you. What is important, guys and everyone, please get the help that you need. Sebab kalau kita lambat mendapatkan bantuan, kita lambat mendapatkan rawatan, our mental health situation condition will worsen. Prognosis kita tidak baik kalau kita lambat mendapat mental health condition ni. Kan dia bukan macam aku buat tak tahu je lah nanti dia hilang. Dia tak boleh. Kita buat tak tahu lagilah teruk. Okay, so this is what we're trying to say today. We would like to encourage all of you, please seek help if you need to, and please do not self-diagnose. Yeah, the only person, the only profession yang boleh diagnose kita adalah clinical psychiatrist ataupun clinical psychologist. Okay, these are the people that will be able to do a clinical assessment and will be able to do a diagnosis. Adakah diagnosis ini penting? Of course penting. Kalau kita tidak ada diagnosis, bagaimana kita nak tahu macam mana apa sebenarnya penyakit kita dan bagaimana kita nak melalui proses penyembuhan? What is the first step? Mungkin kita rasa, oh aku rasa aku ada depression. Mungkin sebenarnya OCD, mungkin sebenarnya comorbid, mungkin sebenarnya benda lain, mungkin sebenarnya tak ada penyakit mental pun. Okay, so this is why it is very, very important. I know Dr. Hazli, you want to add. Silakan.
Okay, dapatkan assessment betul. If you think that you want to have second opinion, do that.
Betul,
third opinion, do that. Tapi janganlah sampai 10 opinion, meaning that itulah sakit you. OCD ke, ataupun OCPD ke, ataupun anxiety. Meaning you are about time to stick to one. To one therapist that you are comfortable with. And then about mahal tu kan, true Anita. Sometimes you go to the wrong place that they charge expensive and then give the impression is expensive. It's not, because the psychiatrists, they have to follow the MMC schedule fees, so they cannot go more than what is supposed to. And the clinical psychologists, they don't have that yet, but you have to compare the market fees, market price for that. And then you know that the fees for psychiatrists, we should see that for the first time is less, just like a small percentage compared to see a beautician to get your Botox injection and also collagen and just for facial. So meaning that you are supposed to have an inner beauty, but you are give a more value to the physical beauty. That's why I stress.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. Okay, Nasreen.
Yes.
If you may share on our expressive dance that we are about to begin this Saturday. I know that a lot of people have asked us, what is it all about, and what happens in an expressive dance therapy class, what would be taught, and who would be suitable to join this class. If you may share a little bit on that. And also, just for everyone's information, this expressive dance that we are introducing, it is solely for females only. So it is for adult females or teenagers that are female. That's it. Okay, not for the men. Thank you. Yes, Nasreen, go ahead.
Yes, I'm really excited about the class. I can't wait to share the little knowledge that I have. So yeah, about expressive dance therapy, just to get it out there, it's not a dance class. It could also be seen as a movement therapy. A lot of people are like, can I join this because I can't really dance? But actually we are more familiar with the language of movement, right? Even before we could speak. So if you can move, you can come and join. So it's open for anyone and everyone who feels like they need to. So this therapy actually taps into yourself and allow you to express your inner emotions in a healthy way with beautiful motions, different creative ways, and to kind of like also sweat it out. It's also accompanied by nice rhythms and harmonies. So yeah, it's not that familiar. It's not really in Malaysia, not much, I feel. But that's why we want to try to see if this can be suitable. So anyone who's interested to join, we're actually very inclusive and we encourage people to. And we're not here to train anyone as performers.
Right.
So it's basically just an outlet to perform and express. And it's mainly for women because we're in a conservative society. So we want women to feel safe and free to feel and express the way they want to.
Right.
So yeah.
So what would happen in a class, in this class?
So what would happen is we'll basically have a rhythm, kind of a harmony rhythm that would follow, and we would focus on an emotion that is bothering you and trying to let it out through movements that we would teach in the class.
I mean, is there a theory part to it, or is it all just a movement? How does that work?
Hello?
Nasreen, sorry. Yep. Did you get my question? Yeah. No, I was just wondering, will there be a theory part of it for this class, or will it just be movements?
It's more to movements.
More to movements. Okay. All right. And so we will begin this class this Saturday, right?
Yes.
Anita, just people who have a history of anxiety disorder will want to know a lot about what to do during the time, want to try to prepare everything. So, but the idea is just to go and enjoy it and
to go and enjoy.
Mistake, do that, and then I mean that is you, Anita. That's okay. Nothing wrong about it, right?
Paham. But we just want to know. Yeah. We don't like surprises, right? So when we come, we want to know: is there going to be theory part? Do I need to present anything, or do I come and we do something? But even that, we still want to know. Yeah.
It's actually it's just a way to just have fun, and connect and have a little community where you feel like you can share.
Right.
I remember that the friends, for those maybe for Nasreen and Dana, you are too young to know friends, the sitcom Friends, right?
Yep.
Remember that when Phoebe and Rachel tried to run, and then the Phoebe just run just with a different kind of way. Not the usual way, and then it's kind of, remember that from at the end of that episode, it's kind of liberating for Rachel to just do that. So not so uptight. So I think that sometimes we need the concept and the principle. And later on, I mean, of course, the dance therapy, art therapy, there is evidence for that. Yeah. So it comes to that when we're talking about not alternative but other interventions, we can, but provided we have enough evidence to support that. But I think maybe we don't have the evidence locally, but we have from outside, international or other countries. We can do that and try to have the pilot in our setting.
Right.
So that's important we have the evidence, because that's what Islam has taught us. Because for every statement from Quran, there is a specific reference to that. If there is a hadith, there is a specific reference to that. Only us just share and then share all the information without any reference, then most of them are fake information.
Dr. Hazli, actually how I, discussed with Nasreen about this was because during our CPG for the management of schizophrenia adults tu kan, Dr. Hazli, I think one of the doctors presented about the evidence. There's a small study done for expressive dance therapy for people with schizophrenia disorder. So through that, I did some research, and so I saw that there is evidence for people with schizophrenia, not for all mental health conditions. So when I spoke to Nasreen, I told her about this. So this is why we are going to pilot this for this reason, because of that study sebenarnya.
Okay. I want to share Prof. Nick Ruzaini and Dr. Hafiz in UKM. They just going to submit the article to the journal about their studies for those who have schizophrenia, who have been admitted during the pandemic. They did the aerobic exercise, and then they compare between two groups with and without that exercise program, and then they show the results, and then they're going to send and then publish, because they are doing that, meaning that this is some kind of similar concept. You have these physical activities, and then there's that's what we are doing. So that's why we don't just for whatever kind of like complementary so-called alternative. It's not like we're against that. Show the evidence. We do it and then check whether it can be validated in the local setting. We are open but not fools, because we just cannot accept just when people say us, and that we don't want to use anecdotal data.
Faham. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. Thank you very much, Nasreen. So we have a lot of questions here, actually. So the first question is, can you share the process to get assistance from MIASA? So I will go ahead and answer this, and then we will go to the third round. So the process of getting help or assistance from MIASA, you can contact us various ways. You can call us on our helpline. We have a helpline, but right now, of course, due to the pandemic hit, due to the MCO, we are not operating physically at the moment. So my peers, my staff will actually key it in the comment section on our help numbers. So you can call us via these lines. You can also call our crisis team. You can also contact us via social media. And you can also email us at info.miasa@gmail.com. So that is how you can provide any kind of assistance. So in terms of services at MIASA, we have various services. So hopefully when you contact us, you will not, go home empty-handed in that sense. So we have, peer support services. We have Circle Time, which is a support group. We have support group via WhatsApp as well. We have our crisis team, who works, they work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. And then we also have counseling sessions. We have spiritual therapy. We also have psychological services. So you can also do clinical assessment and therapy at MIASA. And we also have therapeutic assessment, where you are able to see both a clinical psychiatrist and a spiritual healer in the same session, not only for you, but we will also guide your caregivers. That means your loved ones. Some of the newer services that we providing would be our supported employment and also job placement, which is coupled with circle of care. So the moment you come for our supported employment, those of you that have challenges in sustaining jobs, for example, or need more support, you can sign up for our supported employment program. We are currently facing challenges because of the whole pandemic situation. It has been very challenging to continuously do this program, but hopefully once the situation improves, we can do it better. And then the Circle of Care works the same as Circle Time, so it is a support group session. We do it via WhatsApp and also right now virtually, so that happens once every fortnight. So if you are very much interested in working and you would like for us to help you to find jobs, and it will be in an open, competitive job environment, so you can go ahead and sign up for that. And also, of course, our expressive dance therapy is something really new, and we very much welcome volunteers, because a lot of people ask us, how can I help? So go ahead and go to our website, www.miasa.org.my, and you can register as our volunteer. You can also become a member. So a lot of people ask us, it's an FAQ as well, what is the difference between being a volunteer and a member? Okay, being a volunteer means you contribute and you help us out, right? It can be, our research division, it could be marketing events, it could be our support team or crisis team. If you become a member, you don't necessarily have to volunteer or help us. It is just very helpful because when you become a volunteer, then there is a regular stream of income that comes into MIASA, because it is 50 ringgit for yearly subscription, and lifetime member is 1,000. But we are having a promotion right now, 800 for lifetime member and 30 ringgit for yearly promotion. So that's basically some of the things. And for the B40s, again, our services is at no cost for the essential service. Everything else is highly subsidized, and we also provide free food, drinks, and also hygiene products to the B40 group. So so for those of you that are interested, and if you what are the requirements? You just have to provide proof that you belong to the B40 group. So it could be a pay slip, etc. And then from there, we will be providing you, food, drinks, and hygiene products. Right now, we're not able to do it for other states because we do not have funds to, deliver this to you. But if you are within Klang Valley, Selangor, or the Federal Territory, we will be able to send it to you, via Grab or Lala Move, or even our volunteers can send it to you. But if not, please come to our center and pick it up every week or once a fortnight. Inshallah. So there is much help. We also have, just to add on one last point, it's called Social Synergy Platform. This is solely for B40. So for example, if you have problems in paying your car loan, housing loan, credit card, you need job skills, you need seed capital to start your business, for example, you need mental health intervention, etc. So all these different agencies are within the Social Synergy Platform at no cost to help you out. Okay, so these are some of the things, and all this information, it's available on our website. We also post it on our social media from time to time, guys. Okay, so that's just a little bit of the services that we provide, and also how you can contact us. Okay, so going to the third round, Ustaz, question for you. As we all know, very few mental health NGOs provide spiritual therapy. Kan, Ustaz? Maybe you can share, with us on to the audience, what does spiritual therapy mean? What happens in such a session, and how does it help a mental health peer's recovery? Or maybe you can share some success rate, Ustaz, inshallah. Silakan.
Yeah. Assalamualaikum. Even my experience in MIASA, when I meet patients or peers, they are actually expecting sessions like ruqyah or exorcism. Okay, so it's still prevalent in the society. When we speak about spiritual therapy or Islamic spiritual therapy, it's about removing black magic, it's about removing any jinn disturbances. I do not deny that aspect, okay, but that is actually just one small aspect of spiritual therapy. Okay. When I'm speaking about spiritual therapy, we're speaking about religion, we're speaking about spirituality. In MIASA, we do not shy away from speaking about religion. Yeah, we believe that religion is one of the important foundations towards recovery, towards healing. Of course, proper understanding of religion. Yeah. So I can put it like this. First and foremost, religion gives a map to our life. Okay, imagine you are in the middle of the desert. Yeah, you have injury, you are thirsty, and you do not know why you are there, where you have to go, and you don't have a map. Okay, so religion provides that answer: where you are, where you came from, why you are here, and where you are going. That in itself. From my discussion with our peers, that in itself, when we explain that clearly from the Islamic perspective, especially to Muslims, why we are created, why is there suffering in this world, why do we have to go through this, okay, and where we are going, what's the point of all this? It gives some sort of relief, yeah. Dia dah macam balm to not only the soul, but also the mind also. Okay, and to put it in another perspective, the Prophet SAW actually summarized what spiritual or religious therapy is. Okay, in the form of Iman, Islam, Ihsan. Okay, Iman, Islam, Ihsan. Iman is about belief system, our principles of life, our philosophy. We cannot deny that sometimes what we believe is the cause of our troubles in our life. Yeah, there are people who think that they can be beaten by their husbands for no reason. They think that is the right of the husband to do that. For example, they can stay in an abusive marriage thinking that is the right of the husband. That's a belief system that is false. And that can be a big contributing factor to someone's mental health problem, right? So belief system can lead to mental health problems. So to say that keimanan, kepercayaan, falsafah, prinsipal hidup tidak ada kaitan dengan masalah mental, saya tak setujulah. It may not be a direct cause, but it can be serious contributing factors to it. Okay, people who believe that there's no purpose to this existence, that everything is gloomy, everything is dark, like a nihilist, nihilism,
Yep.
that there's no meaning to everything. How is it possible? And how is it difficult or is it easy for us to give hope to such a human being? No, I don't believe in anyone. I don't trust in anyone. You know, everyone. I'm cynical to everyone. That belief system, there is a belief system that can contribute to mental health problem. We cannot deny that fact. So the first aspect is about keimanan, kepercayaan. Kita betulkan balik apa yang patut kita percaya. But God is merciful. Then God is not here to punish, to torture us, to unnecessarily inflict suffering upon us. There's a grand plan. There's a grand narrative that is beautiful, that is wise behind all of this. Number two is about what we call as Islam. Islam is the external structure or system of life as a Muslim. Okay, system of life structure seperti hukum hakam contoh. Not many people realize that hukum hakam, rulings, religious rulings, can actually help people who are suffering with mental illness. Simple example like spousal abuse just now.
Yep.
Okay, so many times I have to tell the wife who is suffering that, you know, your husband can do that. So it's haram. It's haram. Dia tak boleh suka-suka pukul you macam tu. The wife, you know, I tak nak buka aib my husband. You know, if I go to counselors, you know, I have to tell all these things. I have to jaga rahsia suami I seorang isteri yang baik. That is Islamically wrong. Okay, no jurist out there, no Islamic fuqaha will agree and say, yes, you have to protect the nama of your husband, jangan tarnish his name. No. Say you have to go on report, you have to go to the police, you have to go to the court. Okay, ini adalah kesalahan, ini adalah perkara yang haram. And also, I would say that some people engage in alcoholism, right? Drugs, thinking that, you know, it's my right, I can do this is my life. Okay? And I ask them, are you a Muslim? Do you understand the position of alcohol and drugs in Islam? Okay, so nak kena betulkan balik semua tu. So and then when they realize, oh, Allah actually do not allow us to do this. Yes, dia tak kasih because it's detrimental to our health. A recent study shows that even a little bit of intoxicant is harmful. Okay, exactly is what religions have been saying. Jangan minum, jangan start. It will lead you to. Now this is hukum hakam. And who thought that hukum hakam can actually protect people? Yes, the hukum hakam is there to protect people's mental health, not only mental health, our physical health, right? Our finance, our social life, and so on. That is aspect number two. Number three is al-ihsan, or in another word is tazkiyah. I realized just now
there's a question on tazkiyah.
There's a question about tazkiyah to nafs. Yes, that is a very important aspect of spiritual therapy. Tazkiyah to nafs is about purification of the soul, right? Yep. First and foremost, when we're speaking about the purification of the soul, is to understand the nature of reality, is to understand the nature of life in this world, the corporeality of this world. Right? We believe as a Muslim that much of our suffering comes from our attachment to what is fleeting, instead of what is everlasting, which is the love of God, which is good actions, spending love. Instead, we mencengkam dunia ini. Okay, and the Prophet Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala says in the Quran, Look at the trees. When the rain falls, the tree turns green and it is beautiful to everyone. But please know that the green leaf will turn yellow and soon it will be dry and soon it will become dust. That is the very nature of this world. So when we are clinging to our wealth, clinging to our name, clinging to our whatever worldly things that we have, the more materialistic we are, the more exposed we are to mental health problems. This is a research done. Yeah, there is a research done on this. You can read also in Johan Harris' book. Johan Harris' book pun ada. Materialism, the more materialistic someone is, the more prone or the more exposed he or she is to having mental health problems. This is actually in line with what we've been taught, what the prophets throughout history has been teaching. Prophet Muhammad, Prophet Jesus, Buddha even, I believe the Hindu sages, they've been teaching the same things. So tazkiyatun nafs is the purification of the soul. This is one of the most important part of spiritual therapy. And besides these three, of course, there is also exorcism and removal of black magic, which can have serious effects on someone's mental health too. This is what we believe. Okay, Allahu Alam. I have to excuse myself. I'm so sorry. My plumber is coming, so I have to attend to my house. Yeah. Assalamualaikum. Thank you so much everyone for your sharing.
Thank you very much, Ustaz. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. All right. Okay, kita pergi ke Dr. Hazli ya, Dr. Hazli. Just want to ask you if you can share, Dr. Hazli, what actually happens in a session with a clinical psychiatrist. Bila kita jumpa pakar, apa sebenarnya yang berlaku di dalam sesi pertama dan apa sepatutnya berlaku dan tidak berlaku, and how many sessions is needed before a diagnosis is given, and what would be important questions for the clients to ask the doctor. Banyak tu soalan dia, tapi kalau Dr. Hazli boleh rumuskan, insyaAllah. Also to reduce fear sebenarnya kepada orang yang tak pernah jumpa pakar, kan Dr. Hazli?
Yeah, because can you imagine how anxious would be if you want to share the stories that or the information that you did not share with anyone else?
Yep.
And then how sure are you whatever that you're going to tell will be kept secret, confidential? And then more important also, how sure are you once you open up, tell all the stories that you're going to get assistance and then your problems can be helped. So, you know, sometimes you open it, then show all the past, you know, all the wound, and then after that, you just cover back and then go home. That is a very kind of like a painful experience. So the idea, that's the difference between psychiatrists and other specialists. Yeah, the interview itself, the session itself need to be therapeutic in addition to diagnostic. So when we go and see endocrinologists, orthopedic, it's okay if they just telling you which part of your leg has broken, whether you have a spine got some kind of nerve issues there that you need to go further imaging investigation, or you are being confirmed having diabetes. But when you see a psychiatrist, the expectation, the psychiatrist will tell you what could be the possible explanation for you to have all these symptoms, and the interview and the session should be therapeutic. Means what? You feel slightly better compared before you first come in when you go out from the room. If you do not feel that way, siapa punya salah? We don't want to blame anyone, but if you want to have to choose who to blame, the psychiatrist. So when the person come for the first time, for me, I always allocate about 1 hour to 1 hour and a half maximum, because if too long, it's not going to be therapeutic anymore. Both are going to be tired.
Yep.
So, and then need to
Yes.
to have another session to have the proper diagnosis. But most of the time, within 1 hour, I already have some kind of idea what could be the possible diagnosis and also the problem list this
Yep.
person is going to have. That's the reason we call it provisional or working diagnosis. We are not sure, but
Yep.
this is the diagnosis that I'm going to work with this client or this patient. And then we need to explain, we need to tell them the information in the words and the language that the person can understand. And then we tell them what the option and then what the plan. Okay, that is what the expectation from the client when they come to see. And then, yeah, they are going to ask a lot of information from you, and then you can tell. As long that you notice also, as you start to trust this person, as the engagements continue smoothly, you feel a little bit more relaxed to tell. By right, whatever that you mention, you tell. If you are 18 and above, it's a private and confidential. The doctors, the psychiatrists cannot come up with any report for other parties before getting your permission, and then they need to document that they already get your permission somewhere. It's either in the notes or in the whatever form that said that you has given the permission. That's the reason sometimes that we go to the clinic, they ask you to sign something that's but that one is a general, you know, but it's not nothing to do with the report. So people always afraid, yeah, if I tell you, will my employer will know, will my university will know? By right, it's not supposed to, because it's in fact, if the information's kind of like leak to the this person without you giving the information, you can query, and then you can do to according to your rights, meaning that you can take legal right, legal for that one if the confidentiality was breached. Anita?
Dr. Hazli, kalau macam kita, kan bila kita nak minta kerja, kan kita kena buat medical check-up dulu. So during that medical check-up punya process tu, Dr. Hazli, itulah, because you can see even this person is asking the same thing.
Remember
potential...
Anat, when our discussion with the lawyer, they said that our law is actually pro business and commercial.
Betul, betul.
By right, yeah, is by right. If we follow the human's right, all these private data, is our right, and that is not, we shouldn't do, we should not give or not share that if it does not give our benefit. And then most of the time, by right, the organization want to know that information so that they can provide services and assistance to the person who have that. That what happened, yeah. I have a student who are being accepted in Manchester London University. They want to know, because not to reject the application, but they want to know so that they can provide help. After that, true enough, they say, oh, these are the facilities and services in our university that is maybe that you need. So that hopefully that we will reach to that stage where we want to know, not to punish the person or want to exclude them from join our organization, rather than the organization want to know so that we can provide assistance, because you have the criteria or fulfill the criteria to be in our organization. So, and then usually it lasts, and then by right, and then the set for the next appointment, and then most important thing here, if it's the first time and then we haven't done any, we have to do physical examination, and then we have to do the investigation, because even someone came with a confirm the fulfill the criteria for depression, panic disorder, or whatever the disorder, but we need to rule out there is no possible physical condition or illness that make this person having the symptoms. So that we have to do that. But luckily, most of the client or patient that come to see us, they already have done that. In fact, they have done that not just 1, 3 or 4 more times already. So that is make our job is much easier. And then for me, we list the problem list, and I see, okay, let me help you with the medication first, and then we see after that I will refer you to clinical psychologist or counselor, which one that I think will give the better services to you, and then which I cannot provide.
Okay.
And then that's the idea, because we have to know our limitation, what are we are
Yes.
good at, and then the patients is always can ask in terms of what the medication is for, how long it's going to, what is the expectation for me to get better, and then also what other thing that I need to do, and then and then I will decide whether this person need a medical leave or not. And then interesting part, for me, if someone give medical leave, medical certificate to this person, I don't expect them to stay at home, because that one for physical illness, yes. In fact, I encourage them to go out and then try to do as much as well. Not during the MCO lah, of course. Nanti dia kata ambil kesempatan pula. No, but what I'm trying to say, they are different. But the problem is the patient when they go MC, dia takut nak keluar, nak pergi mall and go selesai. Nanti orang kata apa? Dia punya the colleague kata, "Hey, you said you go MC, dia pergi mall." It is. In fact, I always remind my patient to them, I was the one who prescribed you to go out to the mall. If someone commented in your Facebook or your social media about that, let me know. That is a way for us to destigmatize, for us to get the right information. So this is a way for us to educate that there is some similarities between physical and psychological illness and some differences. That is the example how every one of us can do a small changes for us to improve the understanding and reduce the stigma.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. That's very insightful. The other thing, Dr. Hazli, I think what is so important is, first thing is we're not familiar with the profession of psychiatry. Kalau kita tak pernah lah berjumpa ataupun not within the mental health space, keduanya, there's a lot of fear kan, when we want to go and see, we don't know what's going to happen. So that's why what you just explained just now is very helpful, because Dr. Hazli, the first session will determine whether the person will come back for the help or not. It is so important, Dr. Hazli. I think sometimes I don't know if doctors don't realize this ataupun bagaimana. So because of that, a lot of times, even in our sessions where peers tell us, their experience wasn't very pleasant, kita encourage, okay, why don't you try a different doctor, because you really need the help, you really need to get yourself assessed dan sebagainya. Because I really remember, this is from my own experience, Dr. Hazli, dulu masa dekat US, when I was in the States, I was getting a lot of panic attacks. I went to see a psychiatrist, and I remember so vividly my, experience with this one female psychiatrist, because I didn't feel good as I was talking to her, and I feel that she was very vague in her explanation. And then when I left the session, I didn't feel helped. And because of that, I didn't continue the sessions with her. So it is so important, Dr. Hazli, sebenarnya. So like you said, who is to be blamed when you don't feel good or you don't feel helped? So you said the psychiatrist. So I really hope that, more can be done kan dalam ni, insyaAllah. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. Okay, Dana, I just wanted to ask you, are there specific kinds of mental health disorders that would be suitable, for art therapy? Or is it just open for anyone that wants to try it out? And how about age groups as well? Is it a specific age group? How does that work?
So it's definitely open to all sorts of individuals who come from different backgrounds with different kind of mental illnesses or mental health disorders. When I was doing my master's, my specialty was early intervention with children. Okay. So I was working with early years. A lot of the children came, had really traumatic infancies, children who came from, domestic violence. And witness of domestic violence. So from really difficult circumstances. So that was kind of my main experience when I was doing my master's in terms of my work experience. But ever since I moved back, I've been working a lot with adults. Yep. Definitely still children as well, but I work with all sorts of individuals, like I said, from different backgrounds. Children over here, mainly right now, the kind of children that I'm working with is children who have autism, or children with different physical disabilities as well. So physical and mental disabilities. In terms of adults, like the groups that I'm doing, they all have, there's a wide variety. So I think with MIASA, most of the peers that come to me for art therapy, especially the groups, have, usually range from, you know, MDD, anxiety disorders, panic disorders, and depression. And a lot of my individual clients that I see are also adults with mental health, various mental health disorders. I work with a lot of young adults. So young adults and children, but definitely I think in my groups in MIASA, it's a very, very wide range. So we have adolescents as well. Of course, you know, given consent by like parents and, you know,
guardians.
Those are for below 18s who come to the art therapy sessions at MIASA. So in our groups, it's a really wide variety. You know, some groups are from a 13-year-old until like maybe 50 plus. So it's a very, very, it's a very like kind of big group in MIASA, but the people that I work with.
All right, thank you very much, Dana. Okay.
Anita, can I share experience? I have a patient who get the benefit from the art activity that you guys have done in MIASA. This person, a 35-year lady, single, and then she had a history of being sexually abused by family members, and then she after that, she never painting again, because that the activities that remind her about the what happened during her childhood. And then you know that, and then she went to go for the art class, art therapy in MIASA. You know that she start to use for the first time, she coloring that whatever that you guys did, and then she kind of like after that, you know, it's, you know, that this is the catharsis. I mean, there's, you know, that suddenly you feel so cry along, and then this is after that when the recovery start, you know, because she feel that after that, you know, that she said that someone said after the coloring, then someone commented how nice it look, and then the person who has a son or a daughter with autism, want the drawing that she just colored, and then that actually made her realize she can. That's the reason she is needed in this world. Then she was so suicidal prior to that. Of course, I'm not saying that this is not. I mean, of course, she came to see us. The medication was started, but you know, sometimes the simple things like that can be the reason for us to continue fighting to survive, and that's what we want. Not just to survive, but to enjoy, and then think that we able to contribute back. So that I think example is really even though it's anecdotal, but it's real, because I saw this in front of my eyes, and then I can tell you the picture of the the picture of the one that she colored.
MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Dr. Hazli, for sharing. That is so heartwarming to hear, Dana. You know, every single time when we hear peers sharing with us their stories on how, you know, something that we did at MIASA helped them, it really pushes us, and it's, you know, motivates us to continue doing this work, because we all know, you know, it's blood, sweat and tears, and you know, it's so nice, you know, hearing things like this. Tapi kan Dr. Hazli, to be quite honest, sebenarnya ramai daripada peers yang datang, they're super talented. They are so talented. They're extremely good sebenarnya, but diorang tak rasa yang diorang bagus. If you look at their artwork, I've met people, you know, peers, when they produce their art, you know, sometimes they give us their art pieces. Dr. Hazli, they can open galleries, you know, they can sell all this artwork, you know. This is the next step that needs to happen.
Yeah, but the problem is people that they close to, people that they love so much, say that they're never good enough. Yeah, that's why they didn't believe. Yeah, so that's the problem. And then from my understanding, correct me, Dana, the art therapy, there is a role, is a way for us to communicate through art for those who are not able to use words to communicate. I think that's the reason happen in children, because their vocabulary in terms of what is not that's good, but they are very good in that one. And then also for those who have a traumatic experience, that's also important. And then art also can be a way for us to look into this unconscious and conscious, but that one is a little bit more interpretation based. But the idea, it can be in the form of supportive, it can form of interpretive, or it can in the form of like some therapeutic as well. So there is a different role of the art, and then this is one important for us to see at what pace, at what phase of their treatment this kind of component can come. You cannot expect when they are depressed and so sad, nak angkat pen to color pun tak boleh. You ask for the art therapy, and then this person will throw that thing to your face, because the idea is for us really important. That is important for us to understand the client, the patient come to see you, and then you can make the kind of arrangement. And then if you're not so sure, always ask, always get opinion. So I think that is the idea why it's so important for us to work together as a team for the benefit of the person that come to seek help from us. Don't think ourselves so highly until we are the one who can do all the services. The cake is so big. If we everyone take eat of that until we become diabetes also, we still have some cake left to be eaten.
Betul. Thank you very much, Dr. Hazli and Dana. Okay, Nasreen, just a little bit more on expressive dance therapy. So obviously, some people don't really understand what it's about. You've already explained it. Maybe you can share a little bit, maybe if they're, on the success rate, and also can males, can men find healing through expressive dance therapy? Although I cannot visualize that, but is it helpful for men? And then maybe Dr. Hazli can come and try.
Okay, so the success rate, well, I don't exactly have the specific numbers on it, but I feel like it varies from country to country in accordance to which the exposure of it as well. So I mean, dancing is a form of exercise, actually. So of course it's open for men. But like I said earlier, it's just because it's more of a conservative society. That's why we want to have a little safe space for women. So I feel like that's something that I believe MIASA is also kind of starting up, because we also have sometimes people have domestic violence or something at home, and they want to seek a place where they can feel safer to be. So sometimes even being around women, we give each other this empowerment with among ourselves. So that is the only reason why we have this all female, but it's not like male are not able to. I think it's just the same.
Do you know of any places in Malaysia that provide this service for men though?
Not that I know of, but I'm sure that there is somewhere
places that do it. Okay, all right, that sounds good. Okay, I think we will go to the last round since it's 12:56 already. So maybe Dr. Hazli, I want to talk about medical students, housemen, MOs, etc. Because many of, these group of people do come to MIASA for help. They struggle with mental health disorders, and we hear a lot of stories of shame, fear amongst them, especially, being in that profession where, you're a medical student, you have the knowledge, or you're a houseman and MO, especially MO psychiatry, kan? You have the knowledge. How can you be struggling with a mental health condition? So, kalau Dr. Hazli boleh terangkan a little bit, is help available for them? And how can this help be improved? And the second part to this question is, there is data, there is research that shows that, there's a lot of stigma amongst, mental health professionals themselves. So bukan saya cakap, tapi data menunjukkan. So what is your advice, Dr. Hazli? How can the education system be improved to combat this stigma that exists? Because, kita memerlukan bantuan experts. You guys are the helpers. Tapi kalau helper ada stigma, bagaimana kita nak melalui proses penyembuhan ni dengan baik, Dr. Hazli? Kalau Dr. Hazli boleh kongsikan, insyaAllah.
Thank you, Anita, thank you for the question. And then if I can answer that very well, I should be given a post of Ministry of Health, or at least Minister of Education. So that is actually a very important and very challenging. On the 15th of May, there is the Medical Student Society Malaysian. They have this forum, organized forum about healing the healer. Medical students realize the importance of them to be supported. And then they invite one psychiatrist from UK, and then myself as the one of the panel, and another lecturer from UiTM, and that focus on the fitness to practice. Yeah, so that's kind of like interesting to see that how much support that they have provided in UK for their medical student, but in Malaysia is a very, again, in silo, not well coordinated. There is no nationwide program for all the medical students, rather than depending on the each of the universities. But you know that they're very unethical also for example, the student to be treated by the lecturers who are going to be their examiner, which is the bias already that.
Yes.
And then they need to have MOU between the university. But can you see that some of the practical problem for the student to get the follow-up at other universities? They have to go for the transport, they have to take time. Again, it's a big impractical. But again, that is just the small barriers. But the most important thing is how the university themselves looking whether this is really a big issue that they need to focus on. I'm not sure whether that has been kind of like something they try to work out, and then try to make it like to me like a policy, nationwide policy. The Ministry of Education need to think about this. And then how about the hospital? And then the houseman and the medical officer. We thought that we are working in the institution which provide the service, so that the employee will able to get the service easily.
Betul. Yes.
No, because even the stigma sometimes can be very high. In fact, they don't want to get the treatment in the place where they work, because they're afraid that their information is not being kept. So they are supposed to say that to the patient, no need to worry, everything very private and confidential. But when they come to themselves, they also did not believe that it's going to happen. Again, so this is a matter of perception, because there is no guarantee that it happened, that everything be confidential. So, but for surprisingly, for the private sectors, they have to have this safety, health and safety unit that look after about this. But when to come to the government, the thing that you need to do now is administer vaccine lah sekarang kerja dia. Before this tak ada apa pun langsung yang punya ni. The idea is sometimes we didn't realize the need of the public servant for to get the benefit. If I have the foundation now, if I can do that, I will provide the services to the public servant, because they don't have that. They thought that they have the services, but they're not able to access to that because of the stigma and the discrimination. The idea, there are a lot of them that need the services, but they thought they get the services, but they not get the services adequately. Anita, you can share with me how many doctors that went to MIASA instead than getting the services from their hospital or their organization. So the idea is they come back to, for us to really realize the importance. Just yesterday saja, this is a staff from the government officer want to go for the early retirement, and then she was offended when the officer said that, jadi puan ni nak berhenti sebab penyakit mental lah. Then she said that she cannot accept. How come the person use the word mental? And then I told her, what does it mean? Means that not the staff punya salah. It means what? Means that we ourselves still not able to accept the fact that I have a mental illness. Then when someone said that, we feel offended, meaning that we need to reflect again. Need to do. And then I told her, meaning that I did not do my job right to educate you more and more, so that you able to accept that you have this. of course lah, I bagi tahu dia there is a better way to use kan, instead of kata puan ni ada penyakit mental, sebab tu nak pencen awal, the person can say puan ada penyakit kemurungan yang ada yang resistant dengan treatment kan, sebab tu nak pencen awal. It will make a lot of difference kan, but of course for one to change that, to modify the system takes a long. But the idea is we need to provide this service to assistant to the people who need, for the frontliner, for doctors, for employee, and then for doctors, for housemen, and also medical student is needed. And then we need to do something. If the public cannot provide that, that is where we, Anita, NGO, private sectors, we probably can do something. How to assist the public services to have these much needed client, which they thought they received the assistance, but they're not able to access to that. So, and then the doctors themselves need to know that they need help, and then able to come, to be humble enough to say that, please help me.
Betul, Dr. Hazli. I think, to be fair, I understand. So, we understand being doctors. Yelah, kita pun ada ego, kita pun rasa macam, we've learned it, we have the knowledge. Tapi kita pula yang bertarung dengan isu kesihatan mental ataupun penyakit mental kan, Dr. Hazli. Tapi at the end of the day, you just need to be human to have it. It's not, what kind of social status dan sebagainya. Okay, Dr. Hazli, kita nak cakap satu point ni, Dr. Hazli, di mana it's very interesting when you spoke about that lady, sebab sebenarnya, I've read a lot of, because stigma is something, at MIASA we champion so much. I read many articles that was, that came out via a stigma conference dekat Canada dulu. It was a huge stigma conference and various stakeholders came. And one of the aspects that they spoke about was actually language, because and terms kan, Dr. Hazli. Sebab tu dekat MIASA we try as much as possible not to use the term mental illness, sebenarnya the word illness tu, sebab memang betul the word illness tu ada negative connotation to it. So kalau kita pun Anita faham sebenarnya daripada konteks doktor panggil patient ataupun panggil mental illness, tapi kalau dalam normal daily conversations, if we can just change this, to me it makes a whole lot of difference, because the word itself kan, Dr. Hazli, can be very disempowering sebenarnya. Mungkin kita sebagai mental health professional ke doktor ke, mungkin kita tak sedar, kita tak realise impact ataupun kesan sebab kita bukan patient. Macam tu kan, Dr. Hazli. Tapi kalau kita sendiri patient, mungkin kita rasa, oh macam ni rupanya rasa dia, begitulah Dr. Hazli. So sebenarnya it matters, the language, the term actually matters. Cuma dia perlukan some advocacy lah untuk mengubahkan perkara-perkara begini. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. Okay, so 5 more minutes, guys. I just want to finish it off. Dana, if you can, I just wanted to ask you this. What are maybe some other coping mechanisms, because I know, for you being an art psychotherapist, and I really like to ask people in these kind of different professions, what are some other coping mechanisms that you use to manage your own mental health struggles?
Well, I think because I'm quite a naturally creative person, so
Yeah.
I do engage in a lot of kind of creative activities. So other than art, maybe writing.
Writing, okay.
Especially, when you're feeling when I'm feeling really overwhelmed with racing thoughts, I find writing really helps to ground me. Or then breathing exercises.
Yep.
Definitely staying away from social media.
Yes.
It's another thing that helps me, just kind of having a break.
Right.
And definitely one of my biggest coping mechanisms is going out into nature or going for walks. Just kind of enjoying this kind of quiet and peace. But of course, now we're not really able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe more simple, accessible stuff such as breathing exercises, writing or reading.
Yep.
Yeah, those are just some of the things
you practice.
I kind of practice.
Yeah.
But I just I really wanted to add on to Dr. Hazli what he mentioned earlier about the importance of I guess just because we're finishing now, about the importance of working together.
Yes.
I think that's really important because based on my experience as well, working in the education system, working with all these vulnerable children, all of us, all of these different therapists and mental health professionals work together for this one child. You know, we had speech therapists, we had the physiotherapists, we had the art therapists, we had the clinical psychologists all working together to help, to provide different kind of perspectives in order to help the individual. So I just wanted to say that that's something I really kind of hope for as well here. Because sometimes it can be quite isolating.
Yes.
So I think it's really, really important that, you know,
Right.
all mental health professionals kind of work together.
Yep.
To benefit.
Yep. That's, you know, Dana, you know, this is what we try to do at MIASA. You know, a lot of people say, well, MIASA provides so many services because we have to, right? Everyone is different. You know, we really, as much as possible, hope that when someone walks into MIASA, that they don't go home empty-handed. This is the thing that we really hope for. So hence why, you know, time and again, we try to find different things, you know, various alternatives so that we can help, you know, everyone that comes for the help. You know, reaching out is already very difficult. So hopefully people can find something that is suitable for them. Okay, Nasreen, same question for you as well. You know, like you were saying, you've struggled with, you know, bipolar disorder for 7-8 years now. And, you know, those of you that follow MIASA or, you know, are part of MIASA, you know this, although, you know, people with bipolar disorder, people with schizophrenia disorder or chronic, you know, mental health conditions or disorders that we rarely hear of, you know, be it having, you know, sociopath or people with pedophilia disorders, for example. We rarely hear about it, but we have all these people in MIASA. So maybe you want to share, you know, some coping mechanisms that you've used, Nasreen, that have been effective for you other than, you know, dance.
Yeah, there's a lot, of course. Dance is definitely one of them because it's just simply because it was something that I was familiar with since I was young. But I would say the most prominent and number one is reconnecting myself with higher power, God. And I am naturally a very curious person. So I kind of really need to know in depth before I actually implement it in my life. Yep. So I actually took a lot of online courses about like Islamic studies. I took Islamic psychology just in semester 1, so I don't really know that much. And then I try to do more ibadah and spending my time with the Quran. Aside from that, also improving my relationship with people that are important to me. I believe connection is very important.
Yes.
Because they are the ones that, in the end of the day, are going to be your support system, and we need it. We're humans. As much as we feel like we can be on our own, independent, we actually do need people. We are just as human as everyone else is. And aside from that, I just started something, and I've always wanted to. I just started painting, but I'm not as good as Dana, of course. And I realized you can just do whatever. Like I just realized, like I actually started, you know, these like numbered paintings for adults. So I tried to do that, and then at one point I'm like, why don't I just make it mine? And I just took a bunch of colors and just expressed myself. I was like, wow, this feels so good. And it felt good. And I completed it. It was a really nice feeling of accomplishment. Aside from that, aromatherapy, smells. You can see some candles there. Yeah.
Yes.
I love good smell, and I started a small business of candles as well because of that. Essential oils and smells.
So helpful.
Yep, very helpful. I even keep some essential oils in my bag sometimes. So when I get nervous,
yep,
I just like smell it. So it kind of distracts me. There you go. There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
And reading and writing, definitely. It kind of structures my thought, especially sometimes having a mental health issue, you have a lot of negative thoughts. And sometimes you just need to like write to yourself and kind of talk to yourself to get yourself out of that negative feeling. So what I'm currently doing right now because just to motivate myself a little bit. At the end of the day, I just write, it's just a very simple thing. Just 3 things that I feel that I did was valuable to people or during the day, just 3 things. So just as simple as that.
Very good. Thank you so much, Nasreen. Okay, so we are at the end of the session. Thank you so much, Dr. Hazli, Dana, and also Nasreen. I just want to wrap it up. If you guys just in 1 minute, if you can just probably maybe some words of encouragement or a message to those that are watching right now. Maybe Dr. Hazli, Dana, and then Nasreen, inshallah.
To thank Anita, MIASA, Dana, Nasreen, Ustaz, and then all of you for being here until the end. Yeah. So I think thank you. We need to continue do what we love to do, passionate to do. Yeah, because at the end of the day, I think we need to start continue the movement. We want to make the journey for people who are going to go through the recovery as smooth as possible, even though it's going to be very hard. Yeah, but I think because that's what I started this Alaminda clinic with. The aim is to help people not to just get treatment, but to be the best version of
themselves. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. Truly appreciate it, and may Allah ease your efforts with Alaminda. Thank you. Dana?
Firstly, I'd like to thank MIASA and Puan Anita for putting this together. I think it was really insightful, and I think such an important topic for us to cover in terms of accessing mental health services,
definitely,
especially during these times. So I'm really grateful to be part of this. But I think in terms of like any messages to really, just have an open mind about trying things out, and even if it does feel kind of scary, I think, based on personal experience as well, MIASA is such a great, safe, non-judgmental space to kind of just get that one step forward, 1 foot forward into trying to figure out what exactly I need and what I can do. Everyone there is really supportive and helpful. And I think just going there, even just with an open mind and curiosity, is enough. And, whatever questions you have, hopefully can be answered by the team there, and they can kind of provide you with the services that you could benefit from. And also not just that, but like having this sense of community and meeting other people, I think is such a wonderful thing. So yeah, I think that's just something that I just wanted to leave everyone with before we end.
Thank you so much, Dana. Appreciate that. Nasreen?
First and foremost, mostly I just really like to thank MIASA and Puan Anita for the trust that you've given me from the start. That really means a lot to me. And I feel like a lot of people, sometimes they just need that. They just need that little trust, and they can do the rest just to start their engine.
Exactly. Yeah. I believe that as well.
And especially, someone with struggling with mental health, sometimes it can get pretty overwhelming that people kind of lose their trust in you and stuff. So when someone gives you a huge trust, you feel like, hey, maybe I can do it. So I just want everyone to know, whoever is struggling with mental health or even the caregivers, just know that there's hope. There's definitely hope, and just try your best to always have faith and hope in this. And yeah, all the best.
Thank you very much, Nasreen. I think what you said is absolutely true. To be quite honest, and Dr. Hazli as well, I never knew the definition of empowerment or the power of empowerment until I experienced it with MIASA, to be very, very honest. We're here to help, we're here to empower, but really at the end of the day, it is you guys that did it. So we're here just to provide the platform, to provide opportunities, to tell the public that, look, we do have a mental health condition, but we deserve equal opportunities like anyone else, right? So I think this discussion today has been very insightful, hopefully very helpful to those that, you know, have all these questions, all these FAQs. You know, we receive these questions all the time. So I really would like to thank Dr. Hazli, Ustaz Muhammad Noor, Dana, and also Nasreen for sharing. And hopefully those of you that are listening, you feel helped. And please do share this live session to your loved ones so that they can also benefit and know where to, you know, seek for help, and they can also share it across so that other people can get the help that they need, inshallah. So thank you so much, everyone. We are going to go you know, for a lockdown tomorrow. So please do take care of your mental health. Please try to move around so that we can all be physically fit and healthy as well. And please take care of each other. Yes, Dr. Hazli. Oh, mute, Dr. Hazli, mute.
Saya seperti biasa kan every 2 weeks saya ada Monday Blues with Dr. Hazli.
Yes.
And then malam ni pukul 9 FB page for those who want to ask question, any question they want to ask, including why the government delay the pandemic. I can answer that question also. Just kidding.
All
Okay,
right. Thank you very much, Dr. Aziz. Yeah, that's a very important point, guys. So let's all work together in, you know, breaking this chain of COVID-19. If we do not play our roles, we're not going to be able to break this. You know, the numbers of COVID is skyrocketing in Malaysia. Number of deaths, you know, as well. We had what, 98 2 days ago. Yesterday was 79. I think that's a huge number, guys. So please adhere to SOPs. Please stay put, stay home. If you need to leave, please adhere to strict SOPs. We all need to help one another. Then only we can break this whole chain of COVID-19. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Take care. Stay safe. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.